Gents, this isn't your first BAFTA rodeo, but where does this one compare? How does it compare to the other ones that you've won in the past?
Well, Jeff's also got a couple. So forget those. What do you get yours for? Tell them again.
I've got a couple for television, but this is definitely the most. I feel this is the greatest achievement.
You're going to faint.
I do put this at the top point of my career to date, winning that.
Good job you met me, isn't it? Anyway,
it's all about you, Steve. I know. Yeah. Fine.
It's compared with the other BAFTA. Well,
Yeah.
this is the first one I won for a film, and I've got a few for telly, which I'm very proud of. But this is the most exciting BAFTA I've ever won because it's
many you have.
Because it was something different I was trying to do, and something I was trying to do which was an exercise in sincerity.
Yeah.
Really. So I'm very pleased.
What about the screenwriting process for the two of you? How did that work? Were you in the same room together, and how long did it take to adapt this book?
I'll kick off. It was we don't have a story of fights and arguments. We got on really well together. I think we felt that we fitted. I was the keyboard Nazi. Steve was the pacer. But because Steve's such a brilliant mimic, it was like being in the room with all the characters at the same time. He would be his character of Martin or Philomena or a nun or a barman, and I had all the voices in the room, and it was a privilege.
Yeah, well, he answered it.
But you never wanted to wrestle control of the keyboard back?
No, it was really, you know...
You almost didn't want to see, did you? You wanted to...
No, I often wouldn't look at the scripts on the page. I'd like to sort of stand away and hear Jeff read back to me out loud, because I want to sort of hear what it sounded like rather than look at it on the page.
Yes, please. You're in the front row.
And a real labour of love for you, Steve, as well, because you produced it, you directed it, you were in it.
Indirected, that's Stephen Frears.
You know, how does it feel to be rewarded for all those aspects of filmmaking?
Well, it's very, very gratifying, because this was, you know, although when you're successful in one field, as I was, although that's very enjoyable and empowers you in some ways, it also restricts you, because you get put in a box, and it's very difficult to get out of that box. And even if you want to try, people say, you're good at this, just stick at that. So for me, it was a vindication, because no one advised me to do this. I read an article, I found it moving, I wanted to tell the story, and I thought, I wonder if I can turn this into a film. And so I went with my gut instincts, and so it feels very nice to win this because of that. Yeah.
He deserves all of that praise, really, because it wouldn't happen without. Well, it wouldn't have happened without Philomena, of course, but Steve spotted it. Steve built it from the ground up. Steve got the producers involved, and ultimately
it was a labour. It was a labour of love, even to the extent that me and Jeff talked to Philomena. We talked to Martin at length, and that was, most of the scripts came from those conversations, and just the act of learning about people and writing about them is a real privilege, especially when you feel like you have to honour someone. It confers on you a big responsibility, so you don't want to screw it up, because you're dealing with someone's real life.
Yes, please, in the front row as well, and then we'll go back to the second row.
Well, actually, just following on from that, obviously you have had the involvement of Philomena and Martin, and I wonder, taking this journey with them and having them react to the film, I wonder how that's felt, and whether you feel like you've lived up to that sense of responsibility.
Well, I was just going to say, it's important to know that we took, there's artistic license insofar as, with Philomena, although Judy's character is probably closer to Philomena than mine is to Martin.
Yeah,
fair to say, isn't it?
That's fair.
I used Martin, if you like, as a springboard for my own thoughts on Catholicism, for example. But Martin was incredibly accepting of that and supportive of the fact that I was, if you like, attaching onto him certain aspects of my personality. But he knew that would help the narrative and help the tension between Philomena and Martin. So because, of course, in reality, Philomena and Martin weren't always at each other's throats as we portrayed in the film. Yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yes, please, in the second row. Thank you.
You said there that part of this for you was an attempt to get out of the box that people quite often want to keep you in. Is there any indication that it has worked? Are you now talking to people in a different way about new projects? Have you got things that will enable you to do more adventurous things than you have been allowed?
Well, when you get recognition, official recognition, then yes, of course it helps. And that's scary. Yes, of course it helps, because it acts as a kind of a calling card, I guess. People have to show that it's not just a vanity project. Sometimes people say, I want to do something different. It can just ring hollow. But when you get endorsed by your peers, then of course it means people return your calls, I suppose, for a short period. So and we do have other projects. Jeff and I are working on other projects, and this will obviously give some impetus to those things. So. Yeah, of course it's different now than it was 2 years ago, but it's not seismically different, but it's definitely different.
But it's not one or the other either though, with you, is it, Steve? It's very much both. It's not as if you're going to spend all your time working in this area and
I did the Alan Partridge film after I made Philomena.
Yeah.
So I did my grown-up, deep, serious film with some jokes, and then I went on and did a very silly film. That I thoroughly enjoyed making. But,
similar, but of course there was a lot of comedy in Philomena as well. So the process of creating comedy and creating drama is extremely close. And the attention, the cadence, the rhythm of the line, the dialogue, one to provide a dramatic effect, the other for a laugh. But the process is very similar.
To me, it was really liberating to be able to think about some. Because when you write comedy, of course, you want there to be a bit of subtext and all the rest of it. But when you write comedy, it's quite brutal. You've got to make sure people are laughing. So many laughs per page. You've got to be laughing. You've got to keep people laughing. And so that kind of subsumes everything else. And what you really want, and what was nice about this was, we could think about. I was allowed to think about other things and other ways people act with each other, and pathos and poignancy and all that kind of stuff. So,
yes, please.
Steve, you've been, and Jeff, you've been nominated for an Oscar. Are you going to go there with renewed hope in your hearts? I mean, this is amazing.
No, go on, you answer.
I'm going to do that when I'm sitting in the audience, because we've been up for about 3 or 4 awards, and just before our name's mentioned, I've buttoned up and lost. Today I thought I'm just going to leave it open and we won. It is a surreal. The whole thing is a surreal experience. I suppose I go there to experience it, but not to think like tonight. I didn't think we would win tonight. Same thing there. It sounds kind of trite, but it's true. I don't think if you go there allowing yourself to hope, then I think you just got to keep Kipling in mind.
Look, I mean, the thing is, we've
triumph and disaster.
We've actually got to a place we didn't think we'd be 2 years ago. So really, anything that happens now is all icing on the cake, because being able to sort of have to be able to be in a position where we may be able to tell other stories is we're sort of already there. It's great.
Yes, please.
You can probably only just see me. Hi, I'm Ali from Empire.
Hello.
Steve, you mentioned it as a very silly film, but you've had 2 great successes, Philomena here and obviously Alpha Papa. Does this mean, with you talking about moving out of that box, that we're less likely to see a sequel to that film?
No, I don't want to abandon Alan Partridge. I just want to show that I can do something else. That I'm not a one-trick pony, and so I don't mind. I quite like the Alan Partridge pony. I quite like riding it occasionally, but I don't want to. So I'll do something else with Partridge, but I just want to do other things. It's interesting. It's exciting. It's like what gets me out of bed in the morning is to do something that's challenging, and it's also exciting when you try and do something which you might fail. That's always is a good motivator.
And the last question from this lady here. Thank you.
Yeah. The Oscar one's been asked, but I was going to say, you said you're working on new projects together. Can you see a time, Steve, where you might be more behind the scenes?
Well, I mean, some of the projects that we're developing, I mean, a couple of them, I don't think there's anything for me in them.
Much as you'd like to write them in,
but... Can you tell us a little bit about those projects?
Well, no, I'll tell you.
Go away if you do,
I will, but they're basically for women. They're roles they're good, strong roles for women, and I'm not a woman. So, yeah.
And on that bombshell.
He might be. He might
Dress
be.
up as one, but yeah, I've done that.
He might be a director. Put it that way.
I might do that. I might do that.
Intriguing. And on that bombshell, join me once again in congratulating Steve Coogan and Jeff Pope.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate.